are live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been so long, I think I forgot how to do this. Welcome, everybody. If you're new to the channel, I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Good to see everybody. Welcome, mods, members, and new subscribers. Today, we're going to be covering some new details in the Madeline Soto case. But before we get started, we're going to talk about some things that are coming up that we're going to be doing on this channel. And then, of course, I have been absent for a week. I do apologize. I had a rough week, stomach issues. It's something I've been dealing with for, seems about at least 4 or 5 months now, sadly. And fortunately, it's just kicked my butt. So we've been doing some doctor's appointments and some tests. Probably going to need an operation at some point down the road. But for now, I am good. Feeling a lot better. I do appreciate everyone's support and wishes. But yeah, it was a rough week. And so I've got a lot to catch up on. So if you email me and I haven't emailed you back, I will be catching up on everything. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be doing on this channel, kind of reframing or rearranging the structure of the channel itself and the aesthetic and much more. So excited to do that. Before we get started, though, as always, we always feature the missing, and this one's important because this is our next quest. As you guys probably know, we just got back searching Aiden Clune. So far, it doesn't seem like we had any luck, but who knows? I've been going over the drone footage while I can. Haven't seen anything, but you never know. But we do plan on going back for Aiden Clune again this year, and we're going to go on the other side of the mountain, which I think if he's out there, I really do think he's just on the other side of that. And we'll probably talk about that in the members live this weekend. Anyway, okay, can you guys hear me good? Audio's fine? Perfect. Gwen Brunell, missing last year, June 26. She went missing near Jordan Valley. This poor girl, she was going to California. She lived in Idaho. She was going to travel there. She grew up breeding rabbits and judging them. And she was going to go do a judge convention or something like that. In California, and so she was going to leave, and she was going to take 2 days to get out there, but unfortunately she didn't make it to California. She actually didn't even make it that far. She just made it to just past the border into Oregon, and sadly, a few days later, somebody found her car, and then they did a search for her. They did find a shirt that was hooked up on a barbed wire that was about roughly a mile from where her car was. She had pulled her car over just off the interstate where there's a little pull out there, and her car was unlocked. The keys were in there. Her purse was in there. Her belongings, her wallet, everything was in there. So it wasn't like a robbery. They found her shirt hanging up on a barbed wire in this little creek. It's mostly open range, and then there's kind of this ridge, this little valley that goes down into what's called Sokar Creek. And down in this valley, they had found her shirt on a barbed wire, and then later on they found this, which is her shoes. And these are kind of her dress shoes, and the way they're laid out is really wild. And the fact that they're fully unzipped and with the socks like that, I do wonder, there could be other scenarios, but the one that sticks in my mind is, did she suffer from hypothermia, and that she had taken off her clothes? And so if that is the case, then I was doing some research on this, and usually when you start getting into that level, there's certain levels of hypothermia, and when you start to derobe, obviously you're at the final stages, and you have usually like 15 to 30 minutes from what I read. It just kind of depends case to case. So I would think if that was the case, and this is like her derobing in this area, then 15 to 30 minutes, she can't be far from where her clothes are at. Even though they have done extensive searches, time and time again, we know from like David Pilates and other cases that usually people are found, there have been many searches prior to that, and somebody comes along, a hiker or maybe a new search team, and they find the body right where they had previously searched many times before. So we are literally going out there next week or the weekend. So literally it could be from 4 to 8 days. We're going out there for 2 days. So that is going to be the plan. I know Annalise is very familiar with this case because she's out in Idaho. It was extremely hot near Jordan Valley at the time, 96 degrees when I was there in the daytime. Night's supposed to be around 50 degrees. Yeah, so I wonder if she did succumb to, or did she just, I don't know why she'd take off her boots. Now, I can't remember if they found her shoes. That was the other thing. So I'm going to try to get a hold of David Pilates. I've been trying to do that behind the scenes. I don't know if I'll be able to get him on the show or anything, but yeah, he has a lot of information on this case. So I have somebody that's coming with me, and we're still trying to figure out the best day as far as wind-wise for the drone. But that was the next mission. These boots, just before we get to Madeline Soto case, these boots belong to this girl here, Gwen Brunell, went missing last year, June 26th. Yeah, you would think, in late June, it's summer. Would she succumb to the elements? I mean, I've never been out there. I know Anna would be familiar with that area. She says around 50. I don't know if you would succumb to the elements at that degrees. But yeah, who knows? Just be weird why she would take off her boots in that area. It's not very extreme as far as the environment, like maybe some sagebrush. It's not like a heavily wooded area. And even though her clothes were found down in kind of like a ravine, still I don't know why she'd be taking off her boots so far away from her car. So it is a little weird. Yeah, he has, but he does know a lot about the case, though. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not as interested in the theories as much. I still love the guy. I think he kind of has to, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if he stretches out that way just to expand his audience a little bit. And it says it's low sagebrush for miles. Yeah, it's pretty open, and then it's just got the creek. So as far as like the searching that we have done prior, this one should be pretty straightforward, and I will be able to cover a lot of ground with the drone. So I'm really excited. So that is going to be anywhere from Wednesday to this coming weekend, next weekend. So anyway, let's move on to Madeline Soto case. It's not going to be a very long live since it's been a while since I've gone live. Again, I do appreciate everybody coming in here, and I apologize. I've been out for a week. It's just been brutal with some health issues, but I am back. We're going to be doing some changes to the channel. The look and the aesthetic, and I'm going to try to do so that people donate and stuff. I'm going to change it so people pop up, latest donations, top donations and stuff like that. I've had a guy talking behind the scenes telling me how to set it up because for some reason I just cannot get it to work on OBS for some reason, even though I have double checked. So anyway, moving on to Madeline Soto case. New details. There was an interview done last night. Was it last night? Or at least the video came out on Court TV. And it was quite interesting. Not a lot of information, but some new details about her murder. Because obviously there's a lot of unknown in this case of what exactly happened. but with the information that came out recently, it does support kind of a theory I had early on in this case, which we'll talk about here in a second. But so I get caught up in chat, I'm just going to play this real quick, just a little recap of Madeline Soto's case.
Maddie Soto was last seen Monday.
Stefan Stearns. He is the lead suspect in the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, whose body was found earlier this month.
I think you see that. It means the world to me. Oh, dehydration. Although she had stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to skip
Madeline
this.
Soto, a bright young.
Yeah, maybe dehydration. It's just weird that she took off her boots. But like I said, we'll do a members show on that and a few other things that we're going to be doing coming up.
Young girl who recently celebrated her 13th birthday.
Let me know how the volume
Sunday,
is
February
on that.
25th. Sadly, the next day, Soto would go missing.
Thank you
Her
so much,
mother,
Bye
Jen
Girl.
Soto, supposedly worked late the evening before, so she had her boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, take Soto to school that Monday morning.
I was the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah.
Stearns allegedly dropped Soto off at a church which was nearby the school. This was because Stearns claimed she was embarrassed to be seen in his vehicle. From there, he claimed she was last seen walking towards the school. The mother, Jen Soto, would later show up at her school to pick her daughter up. But upon speaking to the faculty, they told her that Soto never made it to class. But instead of calling 911, Jennifer decided to search for Soto by checking with her friends and locations that Soto knew. Sometime around 8 p.m., Jennifer would call in and report her daughter missing. This would spark a massive search for Madeline Soto, but sadly, the initial searches turned up nothing.
Authorities say 13-year-old Maddie Soto was last seen Monday, just one day after her birthday. She was dropped off for school that morning on Monday. She did not make it inside the school.
A few days later, Stefan Stearns would be arrested in connection to Madeline Soto's disappearance, and the home turned into a crime scene. Stearns claimed he accidentally reset his phone, but this didn't stop law enforcement from recovering terrible images and videos from his phone. On Stearns' phone contained CSAM and also included photos and videos of Stearns sexually harming Madeline Soto. This apparently had been going on for many years, according to the evidence recovered. The Kissimmee Police Department held an early press conference where they released some shocking news.
I had to tell her the very devastating news that although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead. So our efforts will be focused on recovering Madeline.
Along with the tragic news of Soto's fate, they had also had a strong lead as to where Stearns was last seen traveling that day. Thanks to a local watching the presser, they were able to give a tip which led law enforcement to finding poor Madeline Soto's body just yards from the road. It's been
Okay, just a little recap on that case, just for anybody that's not familiar. I was going to reply to somebody. I think it was Susie Lady. Yeah, I think you might have misheard me, unless I said shoes earlier. But I meant she also had shoes with her tennis shoes. Brunell's case, not this case. And I don't think they had found those shoes, or at least they hadn't been mentioned in the case. So that's kind of interesting. I do wonder what happened to those. Anyway, back to this case. So here is the recent interview. It's not very long. If you haven't heard it, it came out yesterday on Court TV, where she released a little bit of new information. And again, then that kind of supports this theory that we'll talk about. And yeah, so let me set this up. Here we go.
You look at that panel up there. That was the state attorney. That was also the head of homicide at the...
So this is, what is her name? I'll think of it here in a second. Investigator for the local news out there. I want to say Susan, but I don't think that's it.
A state attorney's office, and then one.
Shannon Butler. Okay, I knew it was an S. Okay, Shannon Butler. There, she's being interviewed by Vinnie Paulton, and yeah, so she's an investigative journal, and so she was on the panel, and so she kind of dropped some shocking information.
One of the other prosecutors down there in Osceola County, along with the police chief, all of them have been in quite a lot of conversations about how to get to this point, how to do what they did today, is charge Stephen Stearns with murder.
Any indication, because as you mentioned off the top, we've been waiting some time, any information about what took this amount of time to get to, and does any of it include figuring out the cause of death?
Yeah, so there's a few things here. Sources have told me there were multiple people inside that house on Sunday night. We're talking about Sunday night right after Madeline Soto's birthday party, all of that video that you've seen in those pictures of her birthday party. There were multiple people inside that home. So investigators had to go back and interview all of those folks. We know it was Stephen Stearns. We know it was Madeline Soto. We know it was Jen Soto, but there were a couple of other family members there. So one, they had to go back and do all of those interviews. We don't know if any.
So this was a little confusing, the way she worded this. And let me know what you think in the comments. I do think she maybe misquoted Jennifer, maybe meant to say Jennifer Soto's mother. Because she's, in my opinion, she's talking about the party. Because I don't understand why they have a birthday party at grandmother's house and then everybody go to Jen Soto's condos, you know, when it's already, who knows what time the birthday party ended. It'd be nice to know that time. I'm sure we'll find out, but it wouldn't make sense for all of them to now go travel over there. So I do think, I'm going to replay this. Let me know what you think in chat. I do think she misquoted.
Inside that house on Sunday night, we're talking about Sunday night right after Madeline Soto's birthday party, all of that video that you've seen in those pictures of her birthday party. There were multiple people inside that home. So
inside that home, now I could just refer to any home, but again, she lives in condos, and then the mother lives in an actual home. The grandmother lives in an actual home.
Investigators had to go back and interview all of those folks. We know it was Stephen Stearns. We know it was Madeline Soto. We know it was Jen Soto, but there were a couple of other family members there. So one, they had to go back and do all of those interviews. We don't know if any of that information was helpful in them trying to pinpoint and get where they got today. But that was one issue. Then they were also concerned about doing this too quickly. That speedy trial starts, and they had so much information to still go through that they really wanted to take their time. And I know that KPD, the Kissimmee Police Department, had met with the state attorney several times, and they're like, you know, you're just not there yet. You're just not there. We need a couple of more things. And that seems to be enough. If you look at that indictment and the paperwork, it says that they indicted him based on the fact that he allegedly tried to hide that body. You know, you've seen the video, or you've seen some video, but we know that there are multiple videos showing him with Madeline Soto after she died. There is indication now that she possibly was killed right after her birthday party. So if you look at that, Vinny, that would have been Sunday night, not Monday morning. If you remember, they said that she was dropped off at school. Sources have told me they believe at this point that she was killed possibly overnight. That would be Sunday night. And that is an important time frame, because if you listen to the statements that she was dropped off at school, that she got ready for school.
So she says that she's got info that she was killed on Sunday night, which is, I think, is wild. Be interesting to know what time did that birthday party end. It being Sunday night, it's a school day the next day. I mean, you know, was it like 10 p.m.? The mother was working. Now, I've seen rumors. This is clearly rumor, speculation warning. I've seen 2 to 10 that she was supposedly working that day or Sunday night. I don't know that. That's just something that's come up a couple of times that I've seen. But again, we don't know for sure. I haven't seen any verified proof. We just know that she was working a night shift. yeah, I'm just kind of thinking. But anyway, so yeah, Sunday night. She was killed Sunday night, she says, not Monday morning. So not 1 a.m., not 2 a.m. So, 10:30, 11 p.m. So to me, it makes me think, and also in the grandmother's interview, shout out to Plunder. I love that channel. Huge shout out to her and what she does. I know we have broken down the grandmother's interview before, and there's been like a couple of different clips and stuff. They're all like different spanned out clips and not a whole like interview. I think she was interviewed like twice, probably, at the very least twice. And anyway, there was one where she translated, and she says, and we'll look at this in a bit, that apparently Stephen Stearns, trying to think of the exact quote, had not, wasn't living there at the time or something like that, and apparently showed up. So this is kind of weird. So did something go down before, and then was she, did he show up, and then this was like, maybe if this was like another breakup and maybe more, who knows, because we've heard that, it was kind of a little bit of an off and off relationship. Was this something that he did this because he may not be able to be around Madeline again? I mean, who knows? But anyway.
Well, all of those things that both Stephen Stearns and Jen Soto have said would long be not true if she was in fact killed the night before.
Yeah, Jen Soto was very specific about speaking with her and seeing her getting dressed for school at 8 a.m. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. All right. Judge Belvin Perry, great to see you tonight. Let me start here.
All right. Actually, let's go to that quote real quick, and then we'll come back to this here. But I do want to see. Okay, so here is, so shout out to her for doing this. So I know we've seen this quote from the grandmother. Again, shout out to Plunder. We had some people in the chat help translate this. She's a girl, like, with so many fears, so much that she no longer sleeps alone. She sleeps with her mom, or she sleeps with me in my bed at 13 years old, which, yeah, that's clearly an issue. She is not a confident girl. And this one here, the boyfriend no longer lived there. That was interesting, because I've seen this interview a couple of times, and I know there's like one or two, because they're like either cut up or they're either two different interviews. And I just don't remember this quote, which is very interesting. The boyfriend no longer lived there. He came this weekend. Why? I do not know. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That here he shows up. Is it just because it's their birthday? She's having a birthday party, and he was allowed to be there. And then, yes, was she threatening to expose him? She had enough. And sadly, this monster took her life. But that was kind of interesting with that apparently the grandmother claims that he wasn't living there at the time. So now moving back to this interview, which is a few other interesting statements, and then looking at the theory that I had gone over before, and now hearing that she was killed on Sunday night really makes me think that after he took her from the birthday party, something went down and she never made it back to the house or the condos that night or that morning until later around 8 a.m., which
would long be not true if she was in fact killed the night before.
Yeah, Jen Soto was very specific about speaking with her and seeing her getting dressed for school at 8 a.m. That's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. All right, Judge Belvin Perry, great to see you tonight. Let me start here. This guy hasn't shown his face, won't show up in a courtroom, keeps waiving every appearance. I just covered a trial up in New Hampshire where a man who murdered his daughter never showed up in court, finally ordered to show up for his sentencing. Is it possible that this man can waive every appearance?
The answer to that is no, Vinny. He's going to have to be brought before the bar of justice, and the judge has the authority to order that he appear in court for those proceedings. I suspect that this man will be ordered at the appropriate time, other than arraignment, to be there at scheduled court appearances. Because if they let him bypass those appearances, he's going to turn around and use that as an avenue of appeal.
Now,
yeah, so he didn't show up for his first one, and he didn't show up for the 24th. But I don't know if that was maybe either part of it, or was it because they rescheduled because they just had the grand jury hearing, and now they could charge him with first degree, which we learned later that same day. So I don't know if that was one or the other, or a combination of both. But yes, that was the judge kind of saying, yes, the judge can order him to show up.
I want to ask you about speedy trial down in Florida, Judge. How does that work if this defense team says, hey, we want this done as quickly as possible? How quick are we talking about?
In Florida, he has a right to come to trial within 180 days of his arrest. I do not suspect that they want a speedy trial in this particular case. Due to the length of investigation, the multiple crime scenes, and we don't even know all the forensics that are out there, they're going to need time to go through all of that, and they're going to need time to develop whatever defenses they have that they can produce. The standard ones would be, quote, insanity, which there's no evidence at this point to show that he was legally insane.
By the church, by the middle school.
Okay, so here's just a recap of what she claims. So just for anyone that doesn't remember, this is just a short little clip of Soto of what she claims when she got home, what she last said to her daughter, for anybody that don't remember. And then we'll go to the timeline that, just a theory, but now with hearing that that she was killed on that Sunday night, not early Monday morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., makes me wonder if after she was killed, she was disposed somewhere near the grandmother's house. Sweet dreams. Thank you for being a member for 17 months. Thank you, Chris, for all your hard work. Love. I appreciate that, sweet dreams. Yes, of course. I do appreciate any support, any donations, PayPal, Venmo. It does help the channel. Of course, we're going to be going right back out and searching for another missing person. And I can't do it without your guys' support. So I do appreciate that. So we'll play this and then go over the timeline.
On the cameras, they saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away around 9 a.m. heading towards the school, but she never made it.
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working, but she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night and...
Told her good night. Did she speak to her in person, or did she text her good night?
Yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner.
The way she stops after that statement gets me every time. She sighs right after it.
But yeah, in my heart.
But yeah, man, first time I saw that, oh, that was bad. I think she knew Something clearly she knew. How much? Who knows? Joanne, Jen lied about the night before and the morning of. Yes, yeah, we haven't even talked about that. I mean, we have before, yeah. Maddie knew something was going to happen at 13. I think Audrey Cunningham's story everywhere made her speak up and say no more. Ooh. Yeah, they did. Yeah, went right from Audrey Cunningham. I forget the dates on those, but yeah, that was, what, weeks apart? Sadly. Almost kind of similar situations.
I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think. She was last seen wearing a green hoodie.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Certain are we of her whereabouts?
Okay, so Vinny asks the investigator about the details, what they knew about her whereabouts that night. I'm not sure if she shared anything new. We'll listen to it. It's just like 2 minutes.
On the 25th into the 26th, and any idea where she is now?
I do, at least where she is now. She is still here. And I know that because just about 10 days ago, Madeline Soto's father was here. We spoke to him, and part of the reason that he was here was to get some of Madeline Soto's ashes. So an attorney for Tyler Wallace, who's Madeline Soto's dad, did go and see Jen Soto. Jen Soto gave those ashes to his attorney, and the attorney gave those ashes to him. So as of that day, which was, I think, the 15th or so, Jen Soto was still here. She was with family members. She answered the door and handed over those ashes. As for the 25th to the 27th, what we believe is that she was home. She was in the house. We know that she had to work, so she says, when the birthday party was going on. But at some point, she was definitely...
Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry, I've only heard this twice. I just want to hear this part one more time.
To the 27th, what we believe is that she was home. She was in the house. We know that she had to work, so she says, when the birthday party was going on. But at some point, she was definitely inside that home in the hours kind of surrounding what happened here. It depends on, which story of hers you look at.
So it sounds like she's saying that she had gotten home. So So to me, what she's saying, let me know what you think in chat. I think she's kind of confirming that she didn't work like a 4 to 1 a.m. in the morning. She worked, which has been rumored, 2 to 10, because she's saying this. She was home around towards the end of the birthday party, is what she's essentially saying. That's what I'm getting from this. Let me know what you think in chat, but I just got to hear that last part one more time.
She had to work, so she says, when the birthday party was going on. But at some point, she was definitely inside that home in the hours kind of surrounding what happened here.
In the hours surrounding what happened. Birthday party. She leaves with Stephen Stearns, piece of shit. The monster, sorry. And then sadly, her life is taken shortly after that birthday party on Sunday night. So it does make me think that maybe that 2 to 10 that's been rumored could be true. And that she got home at 10:30 or whatever. Who knows I don't know where she works. I forget, but anyway, 10:30 or whatever. So anyway,
it depends on which story of hers you look at. She had said at one point that she was sleeping. Then she said she saw her when she left for school, so that would place her in the house. Sleeping would have placed her in the house. Then she was working. So it's hard to know exactly where she was because her stories just aren't lining up.
All right, Judge Bell, learn some more of the details of what happened and what they found in this investigation that led to today's indictment.
Okay, so we'll go to the timeline. Let me just get caught up in chat. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. We almost got 500 people in here. I thought I was going to have a big show because it's been a week since I've been out. I do appreciate everybody taking the time to watch the show. It means the world to me. As this channel, I try to get back as much as I can in the way that I, with giving, featuring the missing and going out and looking for them. Like I said, if my channel grew, I was always going to do as much as I can to help the community. And I wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for you guys. Gil Hurd, I know you were trying to email me. You were going to supposedly send some walking sticks. That's so awesome. I will get back to you. I'm sorry, because of my health condition last week. It just been brutal. June, glad to see you, Chris. I missed you. I miss all you guys, and you too, June. Thank you so much for the $4.99 and just for the well wishes. It means the world to me. God bless you guys. You guys are so amazing. Sweet dreams, good to see you. Thank you so much for the $5. Does help me tremendously for when we go back out, which is going to be coming soon. And Annalise, I will be emailing you as well. Let me get one more here. Miss Siren, good to see you. Thank you, Chris, and your hard work. Actually being boots on the ground. Thank you so much, Miss Siren, and for the $10. It means the world to me again. And, of course, I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. And we got this new drone, and I am determined to... We're going to find somebody this year. In this case, that's coming up. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want to keep changing the cases. But, yeah, really excited for this next one. I really think we could find her. Renee, I'm sorry. Did she tell her she loved her when she said goodnight? I never failed to tell my grands good night and I love you and sweet dreams. I even tell them before they get on the bus for school. Oh, yeah. Great question. My question is, she says she told her good night. Did she text her or did she say that in person? Obviously, a lot of what she said in her interview was BS. So that could just be another BS, or maybe she did text her, but who knows? Yeah, I agree, Becky, for sure. Okay, let's go on to the timeline. So this is something that I had gone over. Let's see, is there anything else in this
case? I suspect that the state, at the proper time, will announce that they will seek the ultimate penalty. That penalty being...
Oh, okay. One more, because, a little... I know DP, the death penalty, is, a kind of a touchy subject for some. Although, in my opinion, a monster like this...
case...
Based
I wouldn't
upon
lose sleep over
the fact that there's a possibility of at least 4 aggravating factors in this particular case, I suspect that the state, at the proper time, will announce that they will seek the ultimate penalty, that penalty being death.
Party and took her somewhere else.
Okay. So here is the timeline. And this is something that I went over, when the case just started, because... we had a few bits of timeline, or a few timestamps to kind of build a timeline. And there was things that just, especially when I found out where the grandmother lived and found out where the birthday party was at and the time that he left the house, to me, there was something fishy about it. So let's kind of recap what he did and what I think happened.
And killed her. There has never been mention of evidence found in Jen Soto's home of a murder. So this reinforces my theory that Madeline Soto's body could have been dumped, say somewhere nearby, not far from her grandmother's home. possibly in a wooded area nearby, which could suggest that the last text from Maddie's phone, where she claims that her birthday wish when she turned 13 was to live in the woods, this could have been sent by Stephen Stearns himself. This theory, along with Shannon's statement, would support this timeline.
Yeah, so the last message, I don't know if it's been reported as her last text message. From what I understand, I believe it was, but I don't know if that's been verified. We just know that there was a message found on her phone saying, for my birthday wish, I want to go live in the woods. Could have that been like a Brian Laundrie situation, gave it to Brian Laundrie, where it was Stefan Stearns sending that message from her phone, kind of hinting at like, oh, she's going to run away. And so, she goes to school, or she doesn't show up school, she gets dropped off, but now she's gone. And now, her last text message is, oh, I'm going to go live in the woods. Was that sent by him? Just a theory, and I'm sure people have probably speculated on that.
Which I believe after Madeline was murdered, her body was placed in a different location on the night of the 25th. Stephen Stearns then returned earlier that next morning to Jen Soto's condos, and at 7:35 a.m. he is seen discarding Madeline's backpack and laptop, making it look like she went to school that day. Then leaves shortly after. Now, this is where he went out the front gate, which supposedly doesn't have cameras.
So I do notice so right there's a camera right there. I know that's probably a little small. I just banged the mic. I do wonder, okay, so I do think maybe this camera works. Sorry, I'm going to blow this up for you guys. But I think where it's positioned is why they weren't able to tell if her body was in the car at that time, because look at the, it's not positioned high. It's much lower. Compared to that car though, it's still kind of up there. That's a camera. That's certainly a camera. We know there's cameras so there's two entrances. We're not familiar with these condos. There's two entrances. This is the main entrance, which has a gate, and I'm assuming maybe a guy during regular hours to attend. I've only had to dealt with one of those guys at an apartment one time. I forget what he asked me, some simple questions, because I didn't live there, so he kind of flagged me and then asked me for the apartment number. It was where my dad was living, and it was sad because I didn't know the apartment number. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of awkward. But anyway, he let me in eventually. But yeah, the camera is there. Maybe it wasn't working. There's no mention of that. But I do wonder if it was working, the position of it, maybe because the other ones are kind of up higher, they can kind of see more into the car. Although that one is still kind of, compared to this car, it is kind of above. Anyway, they don't mention that, she's in the car at that time. And my theory is that she wasn't in there. I'm sorry, I'm just getting this back over. There we go. Oh, and bring it down a little bit. Okay. So he throws her stuff away at 7:35, and then leaves shortly after that. And this is, in my opinion, where he's going to go retrieve the body. And so we'll play that here in just a second. Connie, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate that. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, that's awesome. Seriously. You are boots on the ground most often by far out of all the true crime I watch. For real. That's awesome. Seriously. That means the world to me. And yeah, we just started this year, when it was kind of the winter time. We're kind of grounded, but yeah, we're gonna be going out, especially with this new drone that this wonderful community that you guys have helped me. You're amazing, Chris. I followed you for 2 years, and you are just as lovely as ever. Much love. Please take care of yourself. Thank you so much, Fly Girl. That means the world to me. You guys are amazing. Okay, to the timeline, and I'll still try to get to chat here.
Would have been mentioned by law enforcement. From here, we know he headed towards the school area around 7:50 a.m. approximately, which coincidentally is the area near where Madeline Soto's grandmother lived, which is just west, less than 4 miles from the school.
So, obviously, we don't know exactly where he went, but we know he went north because we have the timestamp at 7:35, and then he supposedly leaves shortly after that, after he throws her items, her backpack and her laptop. So it makes it look like she went to school. And then he leaves. And then we know because at 8:10, he is heading south away from the school, as it's worded in the little affidavit thing. And here is where her school's at. And coincidentally, her grandmother's, where she had her birthday party at, is just less than 4 miles west of there. And then you've got this heavily wooded area that's all around this. Now, there could be many other areas he could have maybe temporarily placed her body. But that could have been one of them. But anyway, we know that he heads north. And that in 7:50 is just kind of an approximate time, giving the time that he had left and the time that he's seen coming south. So we're just kind of estimating the time. But clearly, he goes there. And anyway, we'll stick with this and then we'll talk about the alternate theory.
And where she had her birthday party. Perhaps Stephen Stearns staged her body somewhere nearby that area, then retrieved her body and placed it into the car, then decided to bring her back. At 8:10 a.m., Stearns' car was captured by a license plate reader heading south on John Young Parkway. Then approximately 9 minutes later, he arrived and entered the back entrance of Jen Soto's condos at 8:19, where there was a working surveillance camera, and from there most likely kept her body in his car until just after noon, where he left again and would travel southeast to dispose her body just off this road. Now, it's certainly possible Stearns had her body in the car the whole time, and him driving near the school and returning was him trying to set up an alibi of sorts, but he drove near that school around 8 a.m. But that school does not start until 9:30 a.m. And since he had no problem leaving her body in the car after he returned, why not leave 45 minutes later instead of leaving at 7:40?
Yeah, so if he's going to tell law enforcement that he dropped her off at 8:40, and when he actually left was at, like 7:40, so let's just say this is what he was trying to do. He would have been at the school 7:40, I think, so it says 18 minutes. So it's kind of interesting because it depends on what day or time you're looking at, like Google Earth, when you do like from and to, from the condos, Jen Soto's home, to Madeline Soto's middle school. It says 18 minutes here. You can see, if you guys are familiar with Google Maps, it's got those little red or yellow. If it's not just all blue, if it's got yellow or red, that means there's some kind of heavy traffic and or maybe accident. And so I notice sometimes the time change. So, and it's only 5.5 miles. So I'm assuming maybe that could be a 10-minute to 20-minute drive, depending on the traffic, because it's most of that, if you're going on, it's that John Young Parkway for at least a good portion of it. And it switches from like 3 to 5 lanes at certain points. And anyway, so I'm assuming, sometimes it gets heavily congested, or maybe it's, a smooth ride and you can get there faster. So again, if you left at like 7:40 and let's say 15-minute drive, you're basically there before 8, or we'll just say 8 a.m. But why do that and then say, well, I took her and dropped her off at 8:40, which means he would have left at like 8:20. So he's leaving 40 minutes earlier than what he claimed. And then for him to come back and be okay with leaving her body in the car, which is absolutely terrible. Why didn't he just wait a little bit longer if that was what his initial plan was, to kind of act like he was dropping her off? But to me, the fact that he left like 40 minutes earlier, I do think he was going to retrieve her body, which again, her school and the grandmother's home where the birthday party was at was just less than 4 miles from each other. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. But hearing that she was now, what the investigator's saying, that she was murdered on the night of Sunday, makes me think she never made it home to the condos. And maybe he temporarily dumped her body nearby somewhere there up north, maybe in the woods, or another location up there. And that was just kind of a temporary staging place. And then he went and recovered the body. And then, maybe was trying to figure out what he was going to do with it from there. But I know we'll learn a lot more. I'm sure they're saying, I think, less than 30 days. I know people asked during the press conference recently, when are we going to learn more details? When are they going to be able to do FOIA request and start getting the discovery? And that is going to be coming out in a few weeks to 30 days, I think. Let's see here. Barbara Hall, yes, Mr. Steve and Chris, Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve and Chris are the best on the ground. The families are blessed to have them. Thank you so much. Again, and it is tough working with the victims or just families that have missing, missing children. That's worse. Working with mothers and they have a missing son or, a missing child, it is brutal. Brutal. I'm not going to lie. This last trip with Aiden Clune, because, I spend time with Amy. I go hiking with her. Sorry, I'm getting off track with the case, but this is talking about the Aiden Clune search that we did a week and a half ago. Yeah, it's tough working with the families. Wallflower, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. I promise you guys, I always put any donations, everything you guys send forward towards the missing. Margaret Ann Ray, thank you so much for the €4.99. You are so sweet. Thank you so much, Margaret. Let's see. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Let's see. I count it, Chris. It's 18 minutes. Yeah, 18 minutes. Oh, you're talking about the drive. Yeah, so I think it could, it just kind of depends, because I've looked at it before and I think it said like 23 minutes once and then it was like 15. So I think, and you can clearly see the red. So I think it just kind of depends when you actually Google map. And of course, I usually do it when it's probably around rush hour time is when, because it would be like 3 o'clock my time, so 5 p.m. their time. Yeah, so it's probably rush hour. Let's see here. Thank you so much, Sandra. Chris, why did grandmother say that Jen called her and told her grandmother to go ahead to get a hold of Stefan and bring Maddie home to get ready for school? The grandmother said that in the interview, did she? I said that she told her grandmother to get a hold of Stefan. She did. Oh, you're right, Mary. Let's see. Do I have that? Is it in this one? You're right. I need to listen to how that's phrased. Now, this is coming from the grandmother, and I know it's being translated. Yeah, who knows? Called her, told her grandmother to get all the stuff in and bring Maddie home to get her ready for school. Yeah, maybe that was. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I do got to look at that, though. And I think I cut her because I didn't want to take too much of plunder, and obviously I just took out the audio. But yeah, that is an interesting question. Oh, yep, I just got it, didn't I? I think I got all of them correct. I think I got Connie's. Did I miss Connie? I did. Yes, I did get Connie's. But I'll thank you again, Connie. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody. But yes, I did address hers. Maybe she missed it. Oh, thank you so much, sweet dreams. But anyway, that's to me hearing about the Sunday, and again, to me it's just weird. If he's gonna leave her in the car, I mean, it sounds absolutely terrible, but if he has no problem leaving with her car, I mean, he comes back at 8:19, and that doesn't leave until like what around 1 p.m. Just after noon. He has no problem leaving her in the car. So if the whole thing of him driving up there was to just create an alibi, why not leave at the time that you tell law enforcement later on that you dropped her off at 8:40? So, I mean, to me, I really, and then now hearing that she was murdered that night, Sunday night, really makes me think, right after the birthday party, who knows, ended at 9, 10, whatever. And then, of course, sadly, it has to be Stefan Stearns, and not, no other family member could have dropped her home. That's another thing that bugs me now. Like I said, I covered this case extensively. It's been a minute. Now things are coming back to me. Now I do remember how Stefan Stearns was supposedly moved out. But yeah, why is he able to show up and be allowed to take her home like that? If he's been kind of kicked out or if there's kind of a separation. But I do think something happened, and maybe he didn't want to bring her body back. Maybe, because I would think, so if there's cameras, wouldn't they have seen, it'd be nighttime though. Yeah, it would be nighttime. It would have been maybe hard to see. I was going to say maybe they would know with the cameras when he comes back if he had her body in the car. But again, I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more. But I thought it was just kind of interesting to hear that. Did cadaver hit on his car? I'm sure it probably did. I mean, they know she was in the car. They have photos, or video, sadly. And I think more than one, because there's this picture. Oh, it's this picture here. This one is, no, that's the flat tire one. But there's the other one where he's on the John Park Highway. I think it's John Park. I know I butchered that probably. But, yeah, on the highway at 8:10, and that's when he's coming back, and he now clearly has the body, and of course it's kind of an kind of a down angle shot at the car where they can see into the vehicle, and so yeah, they knew she was in that car for quite a long while, sadly. Let's see. No, I got Connie. I did. Let's see. Yeah. Dean Crawford, thank you so much. Thank you for your boots on the ground and being a humble man. Thank you so much, Crawford. Means the world, and I'm really excited for this upcoming one. Because of the terrain, that it's much easier. It's not mountains. I'm really optimistic. It would really be nice to get a notch on the belt, you know, because we searched for Dylan Rounds, we searched for Aiden Clune, and you know, we've gotten close. Dylan Rounds, we were close on a lot of things, even more than I care to admit. Because but anyway, yeah. I want to get too off track, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to actually find and solve a case, you know, and bring someone's loved one home. It would just, I can't tell you the reward that would be. I wouldn't need a reward. Just finding them would be the reward enough. They could take that reward and use it for somebody else. So, it's raining so hard here. I can't hardly hear. I'm so sorry, Barbara Hall. I heard there's like tornadoes. I'm not sure what states. I don't know if that's like Kansas and that area. But I do hope if anybody's, you know, in that area, please be safe. I've always been fascinated with tornadoes, but I couldn't imagine living out there and what that would be like to, you know that there's that possibility. What was the temp that night for smell? Are we talking about her case? That's a good. I'm assuming you're talking about the case. I'm not sure. I'm assuming you're talking about this case, the Madeline Soto case. What temp was that night for smell? That would have been mid-March. That's Florida, though. I don't think it would have gotten very low. Because that's Florida, even in, late February, March. It's probably pretty nice. Probably the perfect time to be out there. Thank you so much, June. If you're referring to the other cases, let me know. I do apologize that we're got a lot going on. Yes, I was going to mention that. Yes, so we featured Kaylana Turner. I was even going to do an interview with the family because it was like the 1 year anniversary in February, I believe. And yeah, they found her. And they found her body right where she was missing. So that's why I'm like, for this new case that we're talking about, Gwen Brunell, which is going to be the next case we do. And that's literally, it would be Wednesday to next Sunday. Not this weekend, but next week, Wednesday to Sunday. We're just looking at we're going to be going out for 2 days, and we're looking at the days that have like the least amount of wind. So, and then I'm also bringing experienced hiker with me. So he's going to be on the ground while I'm going to be in the air. I'm also going to be doing some other stuff. Like I said, I'm going to be kind of changing this channel up a little bit, kind of revitalizing it. And also with my searches, I'm going to be doing some more commentary with it instead of just drone shot. Kind of try to make it more viewer friendly and be able to watch and entertaining as well as while we're searching kind of thing. So more documentary type filming, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to kind of try to do. So yeah, why didn't she stay at the grandmother's house? Yeah, right. She lived right by school. Gosh, no kidding. She's right there by school. Almost, I wouldn't say walking because it's 3 miles, but yeah, she's right there. And now I know the grandmother was working Monday because they said that the grandmother was that they went to the grandmother's place of work.
Authorities say 13-year-old.
Maybe, I don't know if that verifies that she was working that day. I don't know. It kind of makes it sound like she was working. Why else would she go there? So, yeah, I know. The playing the what if game is just terrible, because here's the guy's out of the picture for a bit or for however long, and now shows up to her birthday party and then snuffs her out just like that. It's terrible. So, some upcoming stuff. I'm going to do Members Live this weekend. I apologize. I have been doing stuff for members and the Patreons. I still got more behind-the-scenes stuff for members and Patreons for Aiden Klum case. And then, of course, with the news search coming next week, which I think by Sunday I will know which 2 days I'm going out. So for the Members Live, I'll be able to talk about that more. And also, I'm going to try to contact David Pilates. I love the guy. I know he's kind of, he's got some wild theories, but still, I love the guy. What he's done for the missing is amazing. I mean, he's one of the many people that have inspired me on the missing side of things. Gabby Petito's family was a huge one, but I would say David Pilates, with him, kind of bringing forward all these missing people that went missing in national parks, which was something that wasn't really being kept up with. They weren't keeping the records, and yeah, that was a big, issue. And so for him to kind of bring light to that I think is amazing. I do understand that he kind of goes off into the X-Files realm, but I still love the guy. And yeah, love what he does. Sweet Dreams, thank you so much again for the $5 super sticker. Again, I'm going to be getting some stuff that kind of scrolls across, like who's donated, top donators and stuff like that. I'm going to be working on that. New pet outro. I know I said that, but you guys know I do get those updated. Just takes me a little bit of time. What was that date again? On which case, June? I apologize. If you can let me know. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Barbara Hall. I do appreciate it. I love you guys so much. I think she was in the back seat of the car. Because in the one photo, let me see here. I would think the back seat, because you could probably lay her down and put a blanket over her or something. I mean, she could have been, moved from the one seat to the other. Let's see, what was that? Looking for the... Oh, there it is. So she's clearly, here's the one. This is the license plate reader one, and that, because you can see the little red thing, which is like it read the license plate tag, and so it's popped up here, and we can see the headrest here. And I think if she was sitting up in the passenger seat, even if she wasn't sitting up, she had probably been slumped to the side, So I'm assuming she's in the back seat, probably laid down. I mean, can we see? I don't see anything. I mean, she could be sitting in the back seat. I don't know if he'd be risking having her upright like that. And then this one, we unfortunately can't tell, but this would actually be after he disposed of her body. But yeah, so it looks like probably in the back seat. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you were talking about the 72 for a high. Wow. Late February, March. Dang. 87% humidity. That is nuts. Yeah, backseat. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, especially as a grandmother, maybe she worked like the 9 to 5. I mean, they said they went to her work. Like she went to the school and then went to the grandmother's work on Monday. So if she's at work at like 5, you would think she's got at the very least a 9 to 5, if not later. So yeah, she would have been able to take her to school. Oh, that's terrible. But yeah, maybe she didn't have her stuff, which is probably what happened, is that her stuff was at the house, sadly. Maybe that's why he came back. I don't know. I have to think about it. That kind of brings up some interesting thoughts, though. With him throwing the backpack and laptop at the time that he did. I don't know. It makes me want to think about that a little bit more. Let's see. Sandy. Good to see you, Sandy. Chris, did you see images of the tornado the other day? I think West Jordan or Taylorsville. I didn't. What? Tornado? Here? I remember the tornado, the big tornado we had in like, I don't want to say like 95 or something like that. 95, 96. And we had it downtown. We don't have tornadoes in Utah. But we actually had a tornado. It wasn't that bad. But man, it was wild. For someone who's not familiar with being in those kind of areas, it was certainly wild. Was she? Yeah, she looks like she's kind of in that real estate. Yeah, I mean, this kind of looks like some kind of real estate office. I could see that. What was she, or was now Stephen Stearns and his father were in real estate? That would be kind of interesting if she was too. Let's see. Karen Lee, good to see you. Thank you so much to my wonderful mods. Huge shout out to them. Tomorrow, Saturday night, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, Larry and Kay Woodcock are holding a memorial service for JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Gosh, wow, we're going to be up that area not in just a bit. I didn't even think I forgot all that stuff's going down right now. I thought about covering the trial and stuff. We kind of covered, Lori Daybell, but I figured a lot of it would be kind of the same. I figured there'd be new stuff, especially with Chad Daybell's wife, which I've heard the defense has gotten really, really dirty in some areas, which doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I know, doing the what if, especially the fact that she's just right there. It's terrible. Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. Anyways, I do appreciate everybody, all the donations, support, members, just viewers in general. You guys are amazing. Again, so members live, I'm going to try to do another live Saturday or tomorrow. I'm not 100%. It'll more or less be a video for sure, but definitely a live Sunday for the members. And then I do want to mention, of course, with the search coming up next week or weekend, and then that's going to be May now, and then May 13th is going to be Richard Allen's trial, and so we're going to be doing most likely lives every day. So mods, I'm just going to warn you, it'll just be the same typical, not, unless it's the trials live, which I doubt it. There was another TV station that tried to get the live feed, and Judge Cole denied it. No surprise there, but there's still a slimmer of hope, because she hasn't outright just said, hey, we're not having cameras. So there's still a small chance in the Richard Allen case. But anyway, that is definitely what we're going to be covering once May 13 hits. We are going to be covering that case until it finishes. So that's what's planned. And then, like I said, I'm going to try to restructure the channel a bit for you guys. And for the Patreons as well, I got to get everything updated with, the thank you members and stuff. And I'm going to try to do a new intro. So a lot of work's coming up. So got a lot of stuff on my hands, a lot of stuff to catch up. All right, Mary, thank you. Really enjoy your professional work and presentations. Thank you so much. It means the world, Mary. You guys are so awesome. It really revitalized me after having a terrible week with some health conditions. Getting a little less younger is never fun, but that's part of life. So, again, thank you to my wonderful mods, Dee, Jocelyn, Karen, Copper Horse. I think Jennifer is out right now, sadly. Dee, and I always forget a name at the end, and I kick myself. And Michaela, I don't think I've seen her today, but I appreciate everybody. And we'll be back Sunday with the members, maybe a live tomorrow, most likely a video, and then back with the regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday until we go on the trip. So again, thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and we will see you over the weekend, if not Monday. So with that, pet outro, and we'll see you guys soon.